It's interesting what you say, because some people say that if a white person walk into these shops, they treat them very well.
Well, by extension, it doesn't necessarily have to be only the white. It means because
No,
by
sorry, I'm talking about in the UK, in the cook shops. I'm saying in the UK, in the same establishments where black people might complain about poor service, where white people walk in some places, in not all, but in some places they're treated better. There is much more of a move towards serving, and sometimes that's around one. Sometimes it's around being unusual to see them. I think in places, what my observation has been, in places where there's lots of white people, they're treated pretty much the same as everybody else. I think in places where it's unusual, that the person might jump up and be like, "Oh," and seem more alert and busy and interested to serve. In really some areas I've been in where there's 3 or 4 white people in the queue, they're there waiting, and the service is as slow as it is for everybody else. I think in many cultures, in Jamaican culture, I can speak for Jamaican culture, strangers are always treated nice. In my family, we always treat strangers nice. If somebody new comes into the community, generally they're treated well. So I don't know if that's a throwback from the Benin, the Benin community. But yes, I did my ancestry chart, and I'm supposed to be from that place myself. But
welcome, sister.
yeah, thank you very much. I need to visit and get my proper name and everything.
Okay.
But yeah,
the Oba will welcome you. We welcome all the children of Africa that are missing in the world. You are welcome home.
I'm telling you, I can't wait to go and sort myself out. But that's a whole other story. That's a whole other interview. But I think, back to your question, I think this thing operates on many levels. Obehi. I think it's no one thing. It's a lot of different levels. But like you, I agree. We have to fix it. We really have to fix it. We can't keep, like you say, accepting it as some kind of cultural thing. Do you know, somebody told me when I wrote the book, I asked somebody who's fairly prominent in business to review it. And he said to me, he had the book for a while, and he said, I don't want to review that book because it's not true. There isn't a problem with customer service. I said, you're joking. He said, yeah, but only the cook shops. So I said, oh.
No way.
And he laughed.
No way.
Yeah, this is somebody who's been on telly here. This is a prominent, he laughed. And I said to him, I don't think it's funny. Those cooks, this is how embedded it is in the culture. This is how embedded it is. I said to him, I don't think it's funny. Those cook shops, they remortgage, they borrow money, they take susu money or partner money, whatever it's called, whatever, and they put together, and their family lend them money, and people, and they open these shops. They've invested. They're important businesses. You can't just. And he just was like, yeah, those shops are small business. They're not important. They're not, he gets good service wherever he goes, and he doesn't see a problem.
All right. Now,
yeah,
I would like to respond to that.
Yeah, go on. Yes.
My response is that you don't really need to go very far to find evidence of poor customer service among the African community, whether abroad or at home.
In our own country, yeah.
Yeah, it is true that there is a poor customer service. If you go to typical so-called African shops, I don't know if that is what they are called in the UK. In Italy, of course, they are called African shops, a place where you go to find African things like food, cut your hair, and things like that. I'm not saying all of them, but majority of them are not poorly kept. If you think I'm lying, go around, you will see. The way, maybe, for example, they place advert in front of them to show something, it is not really properly kept. No, even though they had the possibility of keeping them.
Yes.
This thing can easily degenerate to many other areas, to attitude, to behaviors, no? Yes. So when we say that that is a poor customer service, it is true that it's a poor customer service. Now, I give you another example. This was in 2013. I was on a trip to Nigeria. I've just come down from Air France. The flight, of course, was full as always. A lot of people were coming down. There was this flight attendant. He was a European, not African. He asked a question to the Nigerian custom officer, who, by extension, he wasn't even very well kept as a person, a custom officer, of course, but very old woman. The way the woman responded to the flight attendant, a young lady, I was ashamed, like as if she wanted to be angry. But now my question was, you, a custom officer, you are supposed to be the window to Nigeria because you are the first person the people see. You cannot treat people harshly. It must be like, you must smile, like you must propose positivity to this country. Smile to the people. How can I help you? For the fact that somebody make an attempt to ask you a question, you must be available. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the idea that we have this poor customer service is not far-fetched. It's all over. It is a problem, and we need to fix it. So this is why I really like the conversation that we have a poor customer service within the community, not only in Nigeria or maybe here in Italy or in the UK, all over. If you think it is true, go around, you will see. So there is not even argument on that whether it is there or not, it is there. So the question I have for you, Yvonne, is how can we fix it? How do we start to fix it?
I think, you know, this conversation with you is making me think about culture. And I think the only thing I can say is that, because in Jamaica, the government departments, a lot of them, it's the same sort of thing. But it's making me think about culture and infrastructure. Like for example, the lady, somebody on customs. I mean, please, that's just about good manners and being nice and to people. That doesn't cost anything, does it? You know, sometimes when it comes to dealing with a query quickly, people having to wait a long time, that could be to do with infrastructure, not having enough equipment, computers, enough bandwidth. You know, it can be related to a lot of different things. But I think the thing that needs to happen now, really and truly, is the training. There needs to be a cultural shift. I think that's what needs to happen. So if we were to say, you and I were to agree, for example, that it's to do with culture, the work then is to have a cultural shift. Is it in the same way in terms of racism in the UK? For example, they're looking at cultural competency in the workplace. You know, are you culturally competent? And I think it's the same thing around customer service. You know, are they culturally competent? And maybe that's work for me to do now, to see what I can create that looks at a kind of a cultural competence around customer service, because that may be the thing to do, to see it, like you say, to see it for what it is, and say, look, this cannot continue any longer. It's of no benefit to anybody, not to you, your organization, your government, your country, nor to the person who needs the service, and how it impacts them on financially, reputationally, pointing out all the different ways in which it impacts them. Because the foreign hotels, for example, for tourism, foreign hotel staff are trained to behave in a particular way, and they do it all about.
I work in a hotel for a very long time. I work as a receptionist.
Tell me.
So I get the value of what you are talking about, no? That is not like maybe, for example, the man that was eating and he said, "Don't you see that I'm eating?" You don't do that, you know? But you should be ashamed that you are eating when you are supposed to be doing business to start with. But when some people come in and they say that you are eating, you just hide it somewhere, then you smile.
You hide it exactly.
And of course, we can try to even understand the philosophy, the psychology behind the smile, that people usually smile at you when you meet them for the first time. I think that is a saying that you can never beat first impression.
No.
It is very important. Because now
Very.
you imagine you walk into a hotel. If you go to a hotel, any standard hotel, you see
Mm,
that the receptionists always try to smile at you. It's not because
mm,
they are weak. They are not weak. It's not about being weak. It's a marketing. It's
mhm,
about marketing that
mhm,
hotel. Because
mhm,
if you don't do it well, that person, if it's a bad person, then it will go, of course, not a
mm,
bad person really. It depends on how the person reason. It will just go and
mm,
write a bad review for you, and that is
mm,
bad business for
mhm.
you. And on the other hand, it will never come back to that place again
No,
because you are not the only hotel in the town.
no, no,
So why would you
no.
treat somebody badly? Somebody that uses some money to pay for the service? Come on. A
Yeah,
minimum of proposing positivity should
yeah,
be something to be where
yeah,
we might need to start from.
yeah. So you're right. It does impact on so many different levels, and it's and maybe if we're honest with ourselves, we may have to say it's cultural.
But I don't know if it's really kosher.
You know why I say that? Let me tell you why I say that. I say that because there is a tacit acceptance of it. If I can be in a room and 300 people can put their hand up and say everybody's having poor customer service, right? That means there is a tacit understanding, acceptance, sorry, a tacit acceptance that this is the way it is. And it's the same with the cook shops at the moment in the UK. You go there because you want your authentic food. You don't want to cook today, or whatever, or you feel for something and you don't you know, and so you buy it, and you buy it there because it tastes good and it's all this stuff. That's it. So I think there is this tacit understanding, tacit compliance agreement, or almost like a sad agreement. Because I did a Survey Monkey back in 2012 when I was writing my academic paper, and all the people said that they went there because of the thing that they went for, whether the hair product, the hairdresser, the food, or the clothes, whatever. They went for that thing. And then when asked if they would go somewhere else if they provided a better service but equal quality, they said they would.